Hi, everybody. Hassan Sharik, regulated Canadian immigration consultant, back with our weekend live session on Canadian immigration. My prayers and wishes that all of you, along with your families, are doing well wherever in the world you are. And hopefully, in many parts of the world, you are enjoying the, the lovely break that we have. Um, Christmas break, end of the year break. It's kind of the holiday season over here as well. It's actually become a little cold, um, but we are enjoying this time. So hopefully, all of you, wherever you're in the world, you are enjoying this end of the year time period as well. Um, I will wait maybe a minute or so that people can join. Excuse me. And then we can take on some questions and look at some of the updates. One of the things that I'd like to discuss is my own opinion about how things might look in the upcoming year. 2020. About for those of you who follow me on the YouTube, about this time last year, I made a video which was actually in Urdu, my native language, Urdu, Hindi. And it became pretty popular, wherein a lot of people from that part of the world watched that video. And I gave my opinion about how I see the overall Canadian immigration landscape in 2020. Um, and that was end of 2019. We've had this year, it's almost what it is, 20th of December today, another 10 days, and we'll be done with this. This particular year, some of the highlights that I sort of see from Canadian immigration perspective, because of COVID, a lot of things got derailed. Excuse me. There were a lot of programs which did not really operate to the full capacity. But the federal government for sure kept marching along their immigration plans, and there was neither a delay nor a pause onto their processings. We saw that when it was the lockdown time period, not only in Canada but in other parts of the world as well. Canadian government, IRCC more specifically, kept on conducting the express entry rounds of invitations. And there was a period where they only invited CEC applicants, but they did not really put a pause to the processing. And then we've seen that they've been doing it like every 2 weeks. This is a new trend as well. And it does seem that this trend of conducting a draw every 2 weeks is now a consistent policy that they're following. So we can definitely expect in coming year that we will see a draw every 2 weeks, which means what, about 26 draws. So if there are approximately 25 to 26 draws, we now are looking at about 5,000 ITAs every draw. Now that means about 125 to 130 thousand ITAs being issued. If you look at the number of permanent resident spots that the federal government has announced for the federal programs, it does seem consistent. It's about excuse me, I have a bit of a flu. The number that they've allocated for 2021 is about 110 to 115,000. So we can definitely expect, and the ITAs that they issue, not that all ITAs are accepted, not that all applicants after the ITA, they become permanent residents. So there's a slightly larger number of ITAs that are issued. Now, so that's something that I would say that I would expect in 2021. Regular express entry draws, probably every 2 weeks, maybe slight delay here and there if there's a change of policy or something. And I do expect all the draws to be 4,000 plus, I would say. Maybe that there are draws which are not always 5,000 ITAs, but definitely 4,000 plus ITAs I'm expecting in each round of invitation. With that, a lot of people have asked questions about PNPs, provincial nomination programs. With PNPs, it's slightly tricky for the reason that it is the province which makes the decision as to how many round of invitation they'll do, how many people they will invite. What federal government does is that they give them an allocation every year. The allocation that federal government has made for 2021, there is a large increase there. It was about 60,000 spots last year. For 2021, it's close to about 80,000 spots, which will be distributed amongst all the provinces and territories of Canada. So the spots have increased. With this, I definitely see that if you look at last this 1 year, Ontario is a province which has consistently been inviting people. So even during the lockdown time period of pandemic, they kept on inviting people. So I am of the belief that Ontario is going to continue with that policy. So all those people who have their NOCs, either the tech NOCs, about six different NOCs that are there, or the general NOCs, which are invited by Ontario, you have a great chance. This time around, we saw that the recent draw that they did, the cutoff CRS was 460. Now, if federal cutoff drops down, definitely the cutoff for Ontario will drop as well. So my expectation in 2021, Ontario draw more invitations being sent out by Ontario, and the cutoff I'm expecting to fall down to 450s. It might fall further as well. They had about 7,000 spots for last year. Now there is going to be an increase in that as well. Alberta, let's see. Last year they had about 6,000 spots. They only used about 4,000. So they've been a little cautious. So I don't know if we will see a large number of invitations for people outside of the province, and more specifically for people outside of Canada coming from Alberta. We'll still have to wait and see. They're an attractive option because they do pick people with low CRS, as low as 300, but it is only a few occupations. And then they look for people who have a close relative in the province or have some connection in terms of work experience or education from within the province. Also, Saskatchewan is a good opportunity. Saskatchewan has also been conducting their draws regularly. Like they usually do a draw every month. Their international skilled worker stream has been active. People are being invited, and it is a good option for people who've crossed the age of say 30. But then it requires you to have more work experience. So people with work experience of say about excuse me, I have a sore throat. So people who have work experience of around 8-9 years, they have good opportunity in terms of Saskatchewan. As Saskatchewan has been doing regular draws, so we can expect with the allocations, the immigration spots being increased for province, there will be an increase for Saskatchewan, and that will translate into more draws or higher number of invitations being issued by Saskatchewan. So these are two good possibilities that are there. One recent update, and this is specifically for people who are in Canada and in the province of New Brunswick. So on the 17th of December, the province of New Brunswick, they came up with a new policy where they did some update to their streams. So they have an express entry stream and a skilled international skilled worker stream. Now, under that stream, if you have eligible work experience and if you are enrolled in an educational institution in New Brunswick, they are accepting expressions of interest for that. And what I can do is that, meanwhile, that I'll leave the details for later, but for all those people who are in the province of New Brunswick or right now, I don't know for how long this policy will continue, but if you are in the province of New Brunswick, you have at least 1 year of experience in NOC 0, A, and B, and you are enrolled in an educational institution in New Brunswick, you have a letter of enrollment from there, you can submit your expression of interest for the PNP program of province of New Brunswick. Now, this is a great opportunity. You can submit your expression of interest, and then based on your credentials, you can be invited. All you need is your enrollment in a university in New Brunswick. So that's quite a bit of an update for people. I know it's only impacting a small number of people who are in that particular province, but that's a possibility moving forward. Fair enough. A lot of people in the past have asked about spousal sponsorship and the timelines for that. I know from a few applications wherein previously there was a lot of delay, but now more recently their applications have been finalized. So with those who have submitted their spousal sponsorship applications, they are being finalized now. If it has been a little more than a year for your application in total, then you can expect the finalization of your application in anytime soon, or maybe in a couple of months. So people who have outlined spousal sponsorship, the processing has become way quicker for all of you. I'll take a few questions, and I'll close this a little early today because of the sore throat that I have. Cybertruck, Salam Sharik Bhai, love from Pakistan, same to you. And your question is, rephrasing previous question, if husband gets nomination from a province and spouse also gets a job offer nomination from another province, can we want to proceed with IRCC for PR application? I think I've already answered about this. I don't know where the confusion is. Husband gets nomination from a province and spouse also gets a job offer nomination. It is going to be one person who's going to be the main applicant. Now, whoever is the main applicant, you'll proceed with that. You cannot have two different things, there can be one main applicant, and then it is going to be based on that. Now, to choose as to who is going to be the main applicant is going to be a decision that is going to be left on you. It will depend on various aspects in terms of from where you have the job offer, like which provinces are we talking of, and what are the outcomes in terms of processing and all that. So yes, one can be the main applicant, but say if one is the main applicant and that person gets a PNP and the spouse is getting a job offer, now you cannot use that job offer to get a PNP nomination from a province and then say that the spouse had a job offer, so that's why we have to move somewhere else. That's not how it works. The PNP nomination is for that province, and you have to follow that PNP nomination to be nominated for PR by that particular province. Asad Azim, sir, please tell me process about visit visa, how it's possible to get it. I am from Pakistan. So for visit visa, it's simple. You can submit that application online, or you can submit that application by paper. You have to you have to provide the reason why are you applying for a visit visa. A visit visa is for the purpose of either tourism, or it is for the purpose of meeting family, or having a business meeting. Whatever your purpose is, you will provide that document. If it is tourism and leisure, you have to show bookings as to which hotels have you booked, your flight bookings, where will you be traveling. You have to make a travel itinerary. You submit your personal documents. This trip that you're going to conduct, if it is a personal trip, you have to show enough funds, like at least the amount of funds to cover the cost of that travel, and definitely some funds beyond that. You have to clearly show your source of income, like what is your livelihood, because they have to see that you are going to visit Canada, and then there has to be strong enough ties with your home country for you to go back. So you can just go online, make a CIC account. There are certain forms that you fill. You submit all your documents online, and you provide your biometrics at Jerry's, the Canadian Visa Application Centers, or VFS, and then it is processed, and you get granted or declined. You can submit a hard form as well. So yeah, that's pretty much how you do it. Jawahar, SINP PNP, my NOC 2174 with license mandatory or not? I think right off my head, 2174 is one of the IT NOCs, software development or web developers, I believe. Now there's a list that they have. You can have a look at that. In all honesty, these things, it is very, very hard to remember them all right off your head. Just if you can give me a minute, I will take out the licensing requirement. Sorry, I'm simultaneously I am looking at the list. 2174. I don't think that it is. Sorry, it's gonna it's going to take a bit of a time because there's a list. 2174, I don't think so, but you can just go online, just go on Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Programs website, and they have a whole listing over there, and you can see if 2174 does require licensing. I don't think so, by the way. Abdul Isa, Salam, I'm international student in Canada. Just finished my 1-year master's program. Abdul, you've sent us an email as well, and I've read that as well. Your case is not that straightforward because of age. You're losing a lot of points. It's a difficult case. I would suggest, ideally, you should be looking for job offers, and that should be your way to go about. You have some previous work experience as well. My suggestion would be looking for a job offer, because you've done a 1-year master's program, so your PGWP is going to be just 1 year. If you could look for a relevant job based on the work experience that you have previously. Look for that, and then once you work for a year, maybe you will again require a job offer, because in your case, federal programs are going to be completely non-existent. You could also look at some of the community pilot projects, the AIPP, look for a job over there, or you could look for work in RNIP, your relevant work, and that might be the way forward for you. It's a very tricky case. I wouldn't really advise anything in specific at this stage, because it's not a very clear-cut pathway, in all honesty. There has to be a lot of test and trial, I must say. It's not a very straight pathway. Sumit, IRCC working has impacted or not due to the recent lockdowns in Canada? Biometrics upgrade for us in India. Sumit, biometrics in India, they've started something. You can check online. See, I can answer questions on immigration, the immigration policies and rules. Some of these things are procedural updates that you need to check with the relevant parties. I know biometric update are, in terms of biometrics, the update is that in India, they've started it. They've started it for some specific streams. So you need to check that with them. In terms of lockdown, the lockdown, even when it was previously there was a lockdown, IRCC was processing all the cases. I have a good number of applications submitted, which are being processed. FSWP applicants, the processing is ongoing, so there's no pause on processing. Arjun, hi Arjun, I am well, and I hope everything is fine at your end as well. Pay my regards to your wife as well. Kadima, good day, Hassan. I'm very much interested in the Saskatchewan Immigrant Nominee Program. Is there any chance to be selected under OID with a score of 67, NOC 4021, with French CLB 6 and IELTS? 67 still is a low score, Kadima. They have been inviting people at scores of 68 to 70, 68 to 70, more so 69 and 70 have been the qualifying scores. 67 still is a low score. And also keep in mind that since the time that they've also added points for French more recently, that has added some points for few of the applicants, and because of that, quite likely that the cutoff score, which stayed around 68 to 70 previously, might now hover around 70 to 72. But let's see, because see, some people now have additional points because of the French ability. So if even after adding French ability, you are saying you have 67, I don't think that the chances are very high. You need to improve on your IELTS. If you improve slightly in your IELTS, I think from CLB 6, if you go to CLB 7, that will be 2 more points right off my head. And if you could get to CLB 8, that could help you touch or cross 70. And that's where you will have better chances. Facebook user, can I get your contact number? So the way it works is that if you, I don't know where are you contacting from, or if you would want to talk directly with me about your immigration case, you have to book a paid consultation. For that, you can go, there is the email address. You can send an email and my staff will get back to you. If you would want to book a consultation session, it is a paid consultation session. um, so that I look at your case specifically and I provide you specific advising. Otherwise, we can do general assessment, and we do not really spend our time on general queries. All general queries are answered on Government of Canada's website, on our website, on YouTube stuff as well. We can do the general assessment. So either you can send an email on info@sharikimmigration.com, which is there. You can see it over here. Yeah. Over here. And my staff will get back to you, or you can go on our website, which is sharikimmigration.com, and on the homepage you will see book consultation option. Click on that, make 100 Canadian dollars payment, and then you'll get an email from my staff, and we'll schedule a one-on-one virtual session with you. It will be a 30-minute session where we can discuss your case in specific. If you still have to start, I will provide you with all the details as to what options are there for you. If you meet the eligibility, if you don't, and what will be the next processes. If you already started your process and you're somewhere and you would want to ask specific questions about something, again, we can discuss that. If you want to proceed further, like if you would want to submit your PR application or something like that, after our discussion, the consultation fee that you pay is compensated in your overall fee. Otherwise, I'll guide you as to what are the next steps, and then you can do it on your own. But all one-on-one consultations are paid. Raja, how much time will it take to get PR after master's degree in Ontario? Also, can spouse get work permit and job easily while husband is studying? And similarly, what about children education at that time? A lot of questions there, Raja. I cannot say how much time will it take to get PR after master's degree in Ontario, because I don't have all the details. If you have a master, I recently have a client who completed his master's from not from Ontario, but from Quebec. And he had 1 year of experience because his age is less than 30. He had a brilliant IELTS. So right after his master's, he was able to meet the prime threshold for Canadian experience class, and his application has been submitted. Now, there are a lot of other factors to consider. You have to meet the point threshold to be submitting your application for PR. It's not a direct pathway where you do this and then you end up being PR. So you have to meet your point threshold. So I don't know what your background, how many of years of experience you have, what IELTS will you be able to get. If you do a master's, most of the masters that you'll find will be 2 years. So you do a 2 years master's, you will be able to get a 3 years post-study work permit in which you can work anywhere in Canada. So the likelihood is that probably once you finish your degree, around 2 years, 2 at max 3 years time, you should be in a position to have PR application submitted for one or the other stream. So I would say about 2 years from completion of your master's, you are in a good position. Your second question was also, can spouse get work permit and job easily while husband studying in summary? What about children? So if one spouse is on a study permit, definitely the other spouse can get the spousal open work permit. You have to submit a good application. You have the right of submitting that application. It's not that anybody who submits that application will get it. There are rejections as well, but a proper good application and the spouse can get the spousal open work permit. In terms of children's education, because you're not a permanent resident, it is your responsibility. But depending where you're located, there are, again, this is not an immigration related question, so I'm not an expert at that, but I know that some government schools, if the parent is here on on a work permit, on a legal permit, the kids can study in public schools on subsidized costs. Arjun, my proof of funds letter from bank has all the details required by IRCC, is signed by the branch manager of the bank. However, it does not have bank stamp. Just wanted to check if the bank stamp is a must. No, Arjun, stamp is not a must. If it is signed by the branch manager, then that's fine. A lot of places they don't even have the stamps anymore, so not an issue. It just has to be on an official document. Yeah, fair enough. So that's all the questions that I had for today, and I think that's all the energy and the capacity that I have for today because of my sore throat. It's always a pleasure talking with all of you, providing you some direction in terms of Canadian immigration policies and procedures. I know some of the people even have sent emails. My way of working is that I know that people who are part of the process, who are in Canada on a study permit or something else, or who applied, they want to find a way. Now, keep in mind, a lot of times that pathway is not very clear. And my way of working is that I don't really give any false hopes to anybody. If I, as an RCIC, as a professional, if I see I have a clear pathway for you, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I don't really indulge. So please bear with me. Apologies from my side if somebody writes to me and I say that I don't have an option for you. The reason is that there might be options for you, but then you have to try quite a lot of things. And sometimes people are either not willing, or if they're willing, they sometimes with us, RCICs and immigration lawyers, they're not willing to commit in terms of money and time. And see, as a professional, if I'm providing services to anybody, I will charge for that. So please, apologies if I'm not able to get back to you. In my opinion, I don't see a lot of confirmed chances for you right now, or there isn't a confirmed pathway that I have for you, and that's why I sort of back out. Don't take that as any kind of rudeness or anything. You need to talk to other people, and there might be some other options because everybody has a specialty. I do not deal all kind of immigration. Like I can, but there are certain specialist areas that I work on. So I might not have a solution for you. There might be somebody else who might have a solution for you. That's about it. And I will see you next weekend. Till that time, take very good care of yourself and your families. Stay happy where you are. Bye-bye.